catching up with Dr. Megan Miller.
Hey.
All the praise. What's going on?
Well, we're still in our houses, so there's that. I'm
You're
not
in the
I'm
you're in the
not
epicenter of
going all
Florida.
around. Yeah, I'm not going all around the West Coast like you are. So
Yeah, we're fortunate with a lot of outdoor space that's easy to get to. That was the one thing that when everything was locking down, Nevada, the governor was like, trails are still open. You all should get outside. And I was like really fortunate for that. And I was like, thank God.
speaking of, I haven't looked lately, but I did notice in my running for August that I was ahead of you for once.
Yeah, I'm slacking.
So, well, you hadn't been though. Like July, I was like, well, nope, that's not gonna do that. But in
Yeah.
August, I've been in the lead, and I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna catch you. So I've been riding bikes a little bit, which like takes away from some cardio, but it's super
Yeah.
fun. But that's only like one day a week. Like that's not a ton. And then I haven't been able to hike. Like there's been a ton of smoke the last like
Oh,
14
I've
days,
seen.
so I haven't been
Yeah.
able to hike or run. Like it was we had about 6 days that it was like unhealthy, and they advised people that don't have any other complications and like live a healthy lifestyle, they're just like stay inside. So it was pretty gnarly for a while. The California wildfires are like starting early and earlier every year, this year
Yeah.
especially. So anyhow, yeah, it was a little
Do they
crazy.
do
I'll
like
blame it on that, but it's like I was on a good streak and I was
you
feeling
were?
good, and it was real. I was even running on days where there was like a lot of other stuff going on because I've had some more time in my schedule to plan for that. But yeah, I've been super slacking, so I've gotten on track this week. Now that's cleared up, though. We'll see if I can catch you.
Yeah, we'll
What were
see.
you gonna
There's
say?
only a few days left in the month, but you weren't that far behind me. But I've been trying to do
Six
like two
miles as of
days.
this morning. I looked at it.
Oh, okay. I didn't run today, so and I forgot. Well, I forgot to put my run in yesterday though, so it's actually more than that. But um, I I've been trying to do 2 days on, 1 day off, just to like get more because I was doing like every other day, but that wasn't accomplishing enough for the food and drink lifestyle that
Yeah.
I'm living right now. So, but yeah.
Nice. Cool. What else is up?
Well, I started homeschooling my 4.5-year-old today or yesterday. So there's that.
Like full
Yeah.
time, you were
Well,
the
so
homeschooler?
he signed up for private school, and it's kind of funny because even when he was first born, I was debating doing homeschool at some point because even as an infant, I could tell he has a lot of energy and doesn't focus great.
Hmm.
So I was like, not so sure how school is going to go for you. So we had debated that anyway, but we found a private school here that I really liked. So he was supposed to start there, and we've already paid most of the tuition. So what they're doing is a virtual option. So we're doing that for the first 3.5 weeks. If everything goes okay, then he'll go in person. And if not, then he can continue with virtual. But Blake, my husband, he is type 1 diabetic. So he's like the highest risk. Well, I shouldn't say the highest, but like when you see people talking about high risk for
Yeah.
COVID, type 1 diabetes is like one of the first things that comes up. So we're trying to do more, being a little bit more on the safer side than the riskier side
Mhm.
around that. To be honest, if he wasn't type 1, Taylor probably would be going to school because they have a ton of safety precautions in place. And there's only, I think, like 8 to 10 kids in the classroom. So in terms of just, thinking about
It's
places
more
where
on
you're
the
more
reasonable
likely
side.
to, yeah. So
Yeah.
it's not like he's going to a classroom of like 20 or 30 kids and stuff like that. And it's a school where a lot of the schools down here in Florida, I don't know if you remember this, but a lot of them are outside, right? Like you see those videos from like up north or wherever where it's like hundreds of people
Everything's
walking
indoors.
down like
Yeah,
a
all the
new
hallways is what you're talking about, right? Like you
yeah.
can
So
jump in
like
between.
they
Yeah.
have the classrooms, like to get to each classroom, you're outside, right? So once you're in your classroom and they're not doing any of the big, like they have an outside thing that they do in the morning called flag which is so funny because I used to do that in my elementary school where they all congregate outside in front of the flag and do some like songs and stuff. And they're not even doing that because even they just don't want to have that many kids in one space at one
Hmm.
time, even though it's outside. But they are doing one like grade at a time. So like on Mondays, pre-K 4 might come out, and on
Yeah.
Tuesdays, first grade. So they have a lot of good plans in place. I just need to see. So until then, I have a little area set up, and we're trying to I partially just need to make sure that he can still sit still and like pay attention to things, because he's really just been doing like whatever he wants for the last 5 months. So yeah, so I'm doing that during the day. And then I finally started a work schedule, like a consistent work schedule, where from 3 to 8 every day, I'm trying to get work done. It was 3 to 5, but I'm just not getting nearly enough stuff done to like have that. So we kind of just decided that it'll be until 8, because what I would do at 5 is go back upstairs and be with the family again and do dinner and all that kind of stuff. So now it's like I'm with Taylor in the morning and doing all that, like breakfast, lunch, all the school stuff, and then Blake has to take over. So, fun figuring out with a child.
That's what, so I don't have children, but we've recorded a lot of people on location where they've talked about like just how they've been handling it, and it seems like everybody has been in at least a short period of like a few months, like short is a joke there, of like, how do we handle this? Like, how do we build new routines? What do we do? So it sounds crazy.
Yeah, and we've definitely shifted our routine several times, because when COVID first started, I already had stuff scheduled at various times throughout the day, like being from work at home. And, Taylor was all of a sudden home and Blake was all of a sudden home. And it was like, all right, well, how are we going to do this? So I made, for like the first month or so, I had like a really elaborate schedule where I filled in the things that I must be gone for, and Blake would have to deal with Taylor. And then, as it progressed, I was just like, well, now that we have a better idea of like what Blake's schedule is and when his meetings typically are, I'll make sure not to schedule stuff during those times and really try to not schedule anything before 3.
Yeah.
So we've shifted to being like really rigid and then kind of flexible and loose, and now back to kind of rigid again.
Yeah.
So.
Starting my day at 3, that would be so hard to like get motivated to do stuff then.
Well, and it's hard too to not like to be present with Taylor and like not be on my phone. Yeah. I mean, it's only been 2 days, but it's hard to like, I really like, that's what I usually do. Like first thing when I wake up in the morning, because Taylor's usually just running around doing whatever he wants. I'll log in, check my emails, look at Facebook or what, not for fun, like Facebook for work kind of stuff. And it's weird to not do that. And then some people aren't patient about that either. Like they'll email me or touch base with me earlier in the day and be like, why aren't you answering? And it's like, dude, it's been an hour.
Life, kids, other stuff, right?
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. How's the LifeTribe stuff going? So I know that there was the event in September, been postponed a year, right? Mm-hmm. That'll be super fun.
Yeah, I know. I'm super bummed though. Like that's what I was really looking forward to. I was like, at least by September, this stuff will be situated.
Paint a picture for people real quick on what it was.
So it's nice because, with every negative, positives come out of it. So what I had already planned prior to COVID for 2020 was a couch to camp online conference that culminated in a camp at the end. So
going out in the woods, hanging out the Appalachians, right?
Yeah. And you were going to be one of our people at camp that others could learn from. And we have some non-behavior analysts, like experts on various personal development type stuff that were present. We have someone, her name's Barb, and she focuses on like imposter syndrome. We had someone who does like yoga and mindfulness. So just different types of activities that would be really fun to do, but also could connect back to self-improvement. And that camp was planned for September. So they technically did offer that we could do it. They have their own precautions in place that were really thorough and seemed really safe, including like, trying to encourage people to quarantine beforehand and all this kind of stuff. But unfortunately, quite a few of the people that registered are actually from Canada. So with the borders being closed, that wouldn't work. And then we did a poll and had people just sort of weigh in on like how safe they felt and if they had circumstances where they couldn't take the risk to do something like that. And of course, most people couldn't. So we were fortunate that we were able to postpone it with like no fees or anything like that. It's a little bit later, so it'll be in October of 2021. But at least, you know, everyone hopefully can still attend. And then this gives us the opportunity to open up for people that may have missed it the first round to attend as well. Yeah. And we have all of the stuff, the online conference and the coaching that we've been doing was recorded. So if people want to get all the professional development piece so they can be in, if they want to come to the camp and know what we're talking about, they could actually do that. So that worked out, and it gave us an idea for future years. The thought right now of planning another online conference for 2021 with like the limited schedules we all have, it's like, no. So what we're probably going to do then is just do that. So like 1 year is the conference, the next year is the camps, and it's like a 2-year experience. And then you have that time in between to really be working on the content that was covered and meeting with people and like discussing it.
Cool. Yeah, sounds dope. We were tired from doing the ChatCon 2018 and then ChatCon 2019. So we're like, oh, we're just going to take 2020 off. That was one of the best accidental decisions I had ever made.
Yep.
Because I remember you texted me, I don't know when this was, if it was April or May, but it was kind of like, hey, do you think this is going to be a thing, like the camp? And I was like, I have no clue. But like, I just remember thinking, I was like, I'm so glad I'm like helping present one small thing and I'm not responsible for this, because I do not envy your position, and this sounds like a headache. So sometimes... Well, and
it was like, it actually wasn't really much of a headache. The people that we're planning this with are just so easy to work with, and so...
Yours was pretty far out, like 6 months or so,
yeah, right? And they're good humans. They're easy to talk. Realize, like, you know, like sometimes we have a relationship, right? Like we've met and discussed the vision, and like they're just as bought into this event as we are. It's not like canceling at the Hilton or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard some horror stories of people having to like lawyer up and like go chase after things because of not having that relationship with the venue they were working with. Sounds crazy.
Yeah.
So that's still going.
Yeah.
Just a little bit later.
And there was quite a list of things that Jen, my business partner, and I with LifeTribe had planned to do in the spring, and we were like, we can't wait till after spring break and we can get all this stuff done. And then COVID happened. So we still have that list. We have been hammering away. It's really funny because I was watching the video you did with Kirk, and I was like listening to him talk about all the stuff they're doing and whatnot. And I was thinking about like, I just feel like I haven't really done anything for the past 5 months because I'm not really working. I just don't feel productive at all. Mm-hmm. So I just made a list to like, you know, so I could tell you about the stuff. And I was like, well, I guess we're doing some things, but nice. It's just not the things that
you're used
to
planned
right? or wanted to do. Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. So it's all good stuff, but it's all pretty much like checking in on things on Facebook essentially with different topic areas. So we did like about 10 webinars, which that was already, some of those were already planned as part of the Do Better movement. And then some were like added in as people, like we did a telehealth one, right? Different topics came up. I had made connections with people that maybe I hadn't made before because I'm online more right now. And they asked if they could present. Those types of things happened. So that was good to be able to put information out there. Like we have Siri Ming presenting next week, right? So, and I've not met her in person, but I always hear like most amazing things about her. Yeah. And that never would have happened because I'd be traveling all over the place, not in places where she is. Yeah. So to have that, you know, opportunity to connect with her through one of the Do Better followers and set that up, like that would have been impossible for both of us in the past. Yeah. Like we planned it in a week, you know, whereas in the past it would have been like, well, I'm at this conference and this thing and that thing, and can you do this? So.
No, I first knew of Siri being around like 2012, and it wasn't until probably, it was last summer when I was with my dad and ACBS was going on in Ireland where I happened to catch her like accidentally for a few hours to talk. Like we were all there and it was super cool. She's really great. But yeah, busy professionals like don't always overlap all the time. So that's cool.
Yeah, so that's cool. We've done a couple of Q&A sessions where they're not even formal webinars, but it's just like a topic comes up in the Do Better group. And so we say, hey, would you all like to come on and do a Q&A? So those have been nice. We've done I started doing with Joe for our podcast, We'll Decide Wednesday was born out of COVID because we're like, well, we're not going anywhere. So it's just like a fun thing where we like spin a wheel and talk about something for a few minutes. I don't think that would have happened if it weren't for COVID. Because again, I would have been traveling all over. I wouldn't have the time to do these like weekly type things. I started doing 2-Minute Tuesdays on the LifeTribe page to just go over like different books in the field that I've read and that we have a list of, and it's getting that more organized. So that was, again, something I hadn't planned to do, but it's been fun to do and like teach people about some of the books that I like and learn about new books because people are recommending new books. So that's cool.
Sweet.
I have a few more. We started an accountability group. So this was for the people that did the Couch to Camp. We had an accountability group from that, but like in our coaching sessions, they're only an hour. So we're running out of time to talk about all the things we want to talk about. So now we're doing weekly meetings with that again, we wouldn't have had. The business group, we started that, and your part of that was Sarah. And so we're meeting monthly to talk to people just about different ABA business things. So that's been really fun. We started a reading club, so that kicks off in September. We have Stephanie Bolden, who's a BCBA. She, when she took over for the BA for BIPOC event that Sarah and Marlisha started, Stephanie took over our social media, and she posted like some really cool, I think maybe like 1 or 2 posts about books that she would recommend reading on anti-racism and social justice. And those were some of the most popular posts. Everybody really, wanted to learn more about that. So we decided to start the reading club.
Cool.
But we're focusing on journals because let's be realistic here. Like, it's great if people do have time to read books, but a lot of people don't right now, but you can still get a lot out of like shorter, like journal articles that cover similar topics. And in terms of like trying to make sure to see how much we can tie in with behavior analysis and things like that. So we have that. We hosted an anti-racism workshop in July, and we have another one coming up in September, and additional plans to continue that work with Stephanie and some of her colleagues. And we started an ambassador program. So that was one thing on the list that Jen and I had for 2020 that we wanted to do, like start having mentorship and coaching. And it's been so amazing to be with someone who also gets stuff done. So like I was bogged down with so much stuff, and she's like, the ambassador program's ready to go. And I was like, wait, I don't have to do all the things anymore.
Sweet.
There's someone
What's that
else
entail?
that gets stuff done. So the way we have it set up is for now, it's people that we just had connections with that we that embody like the do better spirit and are committed to the same values and have expertise in something. So we have different ambassadors. We have Julianne Bell is in Ireland and has she's just been in the field for a long time and worked with a lot of different cultures and places. So she has just a well-rounded experience. We have Steve Ward, who focuses a lot on like barriers to learning and also just kind of unique ideas about things. Emily Wilson was a BCBA that I worked with in Virginia, and she has her own company now, and she's really heavily focused on a lot of things: precision teaching, assent withdrawal, being responsive to the learner, how to run a business. Like, she's just like a jack of all trades.
Cool.
And then we just added David Cox is doing ethics consultations. So if people have an ethics issue, they can he has like a free option, but then he also has options where he can talk stuff out longer or train people on how to actually look at ethics and not just like black and white, what does the code say, but use his training as an ethicist to help people learn how to do that. And then we have Jenna Lee Trebert is focused on challenging behavior. And then Jennifer Phelps, who's my business partner, she's focused on like the business side of stuff, and then family coaching. But the way it works is their calendars are just up on the site. So you go and you find someone, you can fill out a form to see who you match with, or you can just pick someone, and then you pick a time. So you just see what openings they have that overlap with you, and you sign up. There is a fee for some people chose their own fees. So some people have like free or reduced rates, and then some people it's like $75 to $100 per hour. But it's all like one-off stuff. So you can set up multiple times with the same person. You could like jump around to different people. So we try to keep it pretty flexible. We wanted to do a group option, but we just couldn't get the logistics down for that.
Yeah.
So it's all one-on-one right now. And then we're doing an Ask the Ambassador on Mondays now, where like I meet with each person for 30 minutes on Facebook to give people, just an idea of who each of the ambassadors are.
Nice.
Our goal is to continue to build that over time and have an application process where other people who are interested in participating, if they, check off the boxes of things we're looking for, then we would add them. So
cool. Dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, you all have definitely been busy.
I have 3 more things. Should I tell you what they are?
Yeah, go for it.
So this hasn't started yet, but I've been planning it in the background. So starting in September, I believe, Difficult Discussions is starting. So I'll be meeting with...
That sounds like a lot of work.
I'll be meeting
Haven't you already been having those?
I have. So if I'm having them, I might as well let other people in on them as well. Yeah. So it'll be like people from marginalized groups mostly, where we're talking about like some of the issues that they face and like modeling how to have those conversations, because there's a lot of things that I may not know, they may not know, vice versa. Just modeling like how we can have different perspectives but still have a productive conversation about it. So that's going to start in September. Obviously, we've been keeping up with our podcast, but we went from putting out 1 episode a month to putting out 2. So we've been a little bit busier in recording. I think for our season 2 that starts in September, we're going to probably go back to just 1 because all of these other things are happening. Yeah. And then from a like not producing stuff perspective, I've also somehow fit in. I signed up for several different workshops. So I did before COVID was announced, I had signed up for the New England Center with Lisa Coyne and Evelyn Gould. They have a few different like 6-week courses you can do. So I did ACT with families, and I did an OCD course, 2 different OCD like exposure response prevention courses using ACT. And then right now, in a couple minutes, I'm starting like that compassionate listening course that it's not behavior analytic in nature, but it looks really well designed. So I'm looking forward to just learning more about that. I think that's a skill a lot of us need and haven't been trained on. So I'm hoping, that'll be productive too. So I've been trying to do those and like read books again, which like I haven't read books in years. Like I'll read them out of necessity to like make a training or something, but like just to have, different books I want to read and go through those. I have a ton here that I bought, but haven't been able to open or read. So I guess I've been doing stuff.
Yeah. Been busy. Yeah. Sweet.
Oh, and you know what I didn't even have on here, Ryan? Oh, the social events that we did. Like
they're like, that was before everybody got zoomed out.
I know. Well, but FABA's coming up, so like Steven and I have already been talking. Like we're definitely doing stuff for that, because like I cannot believe we're not actually going to see each other at FABA, and I'm so sad about it.
FABA's all virtual, yeah.
Yep, they're doing virtual, and it's all invited presenters, so it's just a 1-track type deal. But the price was amazing. It was $75, and you get I think like 12 to 14 CEUs included in the price. Yeah. So that's not bad at all. And it's like some of the like really good, like Shala's presenting, and they're having a diversity panel. There's a whole lot of other really amazing people. I just can't remember off the top of my head right now. Yeah.
Dope.